Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, during a press conference held in Windhoek yesterday, the Students' Union of Namibia Board Chairperson Bernhard Kavau has expressed his concern over the lack of proper training for teachers to teach, that is the NSSC Advanced Subsidiary, in schools. Now, this comes after the recent release of the grade 11 and 12 results. He now joins us in the studio just to share with us more on this topic. Welcome to Namibia Connect, Bernhard.
Thank you. Good morning to all Namibians, particularly the learners who are transitioning now to become students to university of their choice.
Indeed.
We congratulate them. For those who didn't make it, there are no failures in senior secondary. It's just that another path will open.
Of course.
So that is where we are. Yes.
All right. Just to start off, what is your impression on the recently released examination results?
Well, mixed reaction. The positive one is that there is an increase in terms of passing rate. We should celebrate every improvement. That's the nature of human. However, we are saying that I think with the sophisticated technology where we are today, we expect to do much, much better. 36% of students or learners have qualified for advanced subsidiary, while 64% did not make it. So that should be a concern. I think by now it's supposed to be vice versa, 64 for advanced subsidiary, while the 36 perhaps should be the opposite. Now that has made us now as a union to look further. What are some of the aspects that has transpired? Why are we not reaching there? So we've identified many, of course. At the center of education, particularly at school, the teacher. A teacher is a father, a mother, a doctor, and it's a mentor. So we have observed that most of our teachers, they don't have the correct content. They are trying. It's not their fault, but it's a curriculum mismatch. It's a challenge in terms of a curriculum design, particularly at a tertiary institution. Because what we've done is it's a vice versa. We've come up with a curriculum or reform curriculum which has to be implemented. But what we forgot is to train the teachers on how they are going to teach that curriculum in the classroom. So that is what has affected most of this performance.
Yeah. And what would you say are some of the highlights of this year's results?
Firstly, we are flabbergasted, particularly for a boy child. When you look at the top 10 performance compared to yesterday's result, the boy child was not doing well. But this time we are there.
They stood
so
out,
the boy
indeed.
child is being taken care of. So there is gender equality and boy empowerment is not being overlooked. And well, geography and history, excellent. I looked at, I'm more concerned at schools that are in rural area. I was looking at a school in Kavango, West Semanga, and that teacher scored 100% passing rate in geography. So I had that interest because I have a niece who's studying there at the rural school, and the child get an A, and I'm like, wow, I think we are moving in the right direction.
Indeed.
So those are motivating factors. Those are the highlights in terms of positivity, in terms of giving a spirit that we must continue to push. And some of the highlights that we can see now is to our observation, there's slight improvement in mathematics. And we think it's because of that training that was given to teachers. Last year, we thank the media, where somewhere in the region teachers were taken for some remedial training, which we think that has contributed. Apart from now, what the challenge that we have is less of these students qualifying for AS. Where do we take them then? And remember, we have two exits to tertiary institution, the ordinary level and then the AS. Ordinary level, we have NAST, IUM, and other mostly private institutions. Who takes them in? Now we have MITU now, which is saying, no, we can't take ordinary level. We are more focused on AS. The unfortunate part now, when it comes to the funding models, they are saying the most focus, especially on a professional degree, someone must have AS. Now, majority of our students or learners don't have AS. As a result, they will not be funded by under the subsidized tertiary institution, which is a big concern to us as a student union. That's when we decided, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's approach our government So we see how do we assist these students.
Let's talk about yesterday's press conference. Now, you expressed your concern on the lack of proper training for teachers that you just mentioned earlier to teach, that is the NSSC Advanced Subsidiary in schools. Now, why are you saying so despite improved performance this year?
We are saying so because we as a union, we believe in excellency and we believe in uplifting many people as possible from point A to B, where B is a better place. We are not satisfied with a 36%. I think by now we want to push at least even to 50% or more. What it basically means, if more people have progressed to AS, more learners won't go to the street. That's why we are saying so. And we are looking also at English. Until we reach a stage whereby English, majority of our learners have performed a D grade or better, then we'll be satisfied. But we've seen many still struggled. But while we know English and mathematics, these are some of the subjects that are imperative in the life of a learner to progress in their career, especially when they move to higher institutions. So those are some of the observations we've seen where we are saying we are not satisfied. There is progress, but we want to do more. We understand Rome was not built in a day, but we are so hopeful. We are hopeful for our government. When you look at our Namibian policy, when you read it, you say, wow, this is the best policy ever. But when it comes to implementation, that's where we have challenges. We don't necessarily blame anyone. We are pointing out factors that has contributed to some of these things. So that is where we are, and I think we should pull together in the same direction.
Now, besides the lack of proper training for teachers, what other aspects of the curriculum do you think need attention?
Some of the aspects that need heavily attention is, in the reform curriculum, there's introduction of technical and vocational education. Yesterday, we raised this point where we're saying we lack teachers that are trained to teach TVET. There's a difference between a teacher who's teaching mathematics, life skills, and other subjects that we know. But when it comes to technical vocational education, you need someone who is technical trained, and then you move so that they are good in terms of presentation of methodology. The teaching pedagogy between technical vocational education, it's different from the normal theory. And if you look at our institution of higher learning that we have today, we do not have an institution that is teaching school of technical vocational education. We propose that we are seeing a shift at NAST, but still we don't have, you cannot tell me now where we are to say this has a qualification in honors degree, trained as a TVET teacher. So we lack that. So it's a problem to us. So when we have this curriculum, I think we must shift in that direction. We are also saying in terms of schools, some were shocked. We're saying, okay, our curriculum now speaks about technical and vocational education, but what about infrastructure? Do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the machinery? If our technicality aspect is, for instance, in agriculture, do we have the garden at school? Do we have the livestock? These are some of the things that we've observed that need improvement in terms of TVET. Not only TVET, but also what we've observed is that not many schools offer advanced subsidiary. As a result, many learners will migrate from the comfort of their zones and their houses to the next village. When they move to the next village where there's advanced subsidiary, another problem comes, the aspect of accommodation, because the schools do not have hostels. As a result, these learners are forced to stay with a relative, and some relative must take care of the child, some may not. We've seen results where learners are cohabitating, whereby they are not in the care of their parent, and eventuality event happens, such as teenage pregnancy. These are some of the factors that is contributing. And mostly also the issue of mental health, because this child has been in the care of the parent. Eventually they move to the next school, new teachers, new friends, distance to school, new environment. So those are aspects that learners need to adapt before. Those are some of the contribution factors for a learner to progress academically. So those are clear aspects that we've seen also which is contributing. Well, we have also our fellow teachers who are idle. Someone got their qualification 30 years ago. They still have a diploma and they are comfortable about that. So we feel the world is revolving. The knowledge becoming advanced, we need to upskill ourselves. We need to do better than our learners. Our content need to go high. You know what? Learners can observe and notice that this teacher, I think, lacks this content. For learners to have confidence in a teacher, the teacher must have the right confidence so that they can teach the right curriculum, also with confidence, and to avoid misinformation, miscommunication, teach the right content. Those are some of the aspects that we've observed.
Now, Bernhard, what plans does the Students' Union of Namibia have in place to engage, that is, the relevant authorities with the hope of addressing some of these issues?
Well, firstly, to us, we feel that institution of higher learning are our first custodian that we have to face with a reality. We are looking at the curriculum of education. We are now going to benchmark and check if it's statistics that is in AS. We have to look at the statistics that's being offered where a teacher is being trained. Is it at the same level with what is being taught at school, or it's a bit higher? It needs to be higher. Those are some of the things we need to review. If you are training a teacher to become a teacher who can teach agriculture, it's no longer just theory. But do institutions of higher learning have a guidance at the university? Most of them no. And if not, what can we supplement? So we are advocating that all higher institutions of learning that are offering education, students has to go for excursions. They need to visit our farms. They need to get that experience, real experience. You cannot talk about anatomy of an animal and you have never dissected an animal to check how they are, the heart, all that aspect whereby it's just theory. So we feel that the teacher's knowledge need to be there. Not only that, but as much as we will advocate at institutional level, we will also engage Namibia Qualification Authority. We are saying when a qualification is being developed, the qualification framework and also the content, we are saying it must speak to the national development goal of the country. It's not just the matter of coming up with a qualification and then you give it up so that the people can start working. It needs to merge. Where are we in terms of national development goals? And how will these people connect between theory and practical so that they can put it in the classroom? And also apart from that, also, if we go back also to the institutions, do they have the infrastructure? Do they have the resources? We cannot accept a situation whereby you are training an IT teacher, but at the institution of higher learning, they are sharing a laptop, they are sharing a desktop. So they will not get the accurate content that they're supposed to do. And that is why we've advocated that to cut the gap between the needy and those that have some, we've advocated that at least with this funding model must include technological gadgets such as laptops for students that are need, so that they are at pay with others so that no one miss out. At the end of the day, we think we need to invest more in research. We need to come together as a country. We need to air our views. But the good thing about Namibia as a country is the level of democracy, the way we engage. And strongly as we speak for us as Student Union of Namibia, we have a good government that always listens, that gives us the platform, that brings us to the table. And we believe even these matters that we are discussing now, it will be resolved so people don't have to worry.
Indeed. Bernhard, before we let you go, any encouraging words for students and just learners for the 2026 academic year?
We will firstly say, we'll thank our current administration under the leadership of Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. And we have seen that cabinet have young people, youth that are on the ground. We see them, we meet them even at Kapana, the likes of Emma Teofellas. So some of these things, we don't just discuss them in the policy tables or so. We make a joke about it, young parliamentarian, be it former. So we are discussing this matter, so they shouldn't worry much. And also we have a good caring government that has said access to education is expanded, the subsidized education. Some of these issues that are here is just semantic. We need to come to the table. Already meetings have started. Minister of Education, a meeting yesterday with public institutions. I'm told also there's a meeting with private institutions. So I think students must not worry. Parents have been calling the student of Namibia to say, I have a child, it's through grade 11, what now if they are not funded? But all we are saying is don't worry, engagements are ongoing. And we are hopeful something will come out. NSFAF is there for the student. Let's soldier on. The students, the learners that are committing suicide, no one is a failure. It's just a small challenge. It can be overcome. If you made it from grade 0 to grade 11, what can stop you? These are just small challenges. Don't let peer pressure. There are many opportunities there. So the life skill teachers need to come on board. Social workers, churches, our parents, we need to sit down with our children and talk to them. If they have a problem, they also need guidance and counseling. So that can be done. We have all the instruments here at our disposal. Be it online, Lifeline is there. So there's no reason for us to fail.